At the beginning of the film, we find ourselves in a dimly lit motel room at 2 a.m. Alice, a 30-year-old woman, abruptly rushes to the bathroom as her phone begins to ring. It's her husband, Eric, on the other end, sounding affectionate and completely oblivious. He reminds her of their appointment with the fertility doctor later that day, and Alice responds sweetly, feigning that everything is well.
Yeah, they say she's the best fertility doctor around.
Yeah, okay. I gotta go. I love you.
However, the reality is quite different. She is not alone in the motel room. She is with John, her colleague and secret lover, thus betraying Eric with someone who is also her best friend. After the call concludes, Alice and John discreetly check out of the motel and continue their journey as if nothing has occurred. As they drive, we gain insight into Alice and Eric's struggles with infertility. Eric appears patient and deeply supportive, yet unbeknownst to him, Alice is leading a double life. An unusual event occurs when John notices the fuel gauge decreasing rapidly, puzzled since he filled the tank just yesterday. They decide to stop at a quiet, isolated gas station to refuel. While John steps outside to fill up the tank, Alice enters the store to purchase some coffee. Upon entering, however, she senses something is amiss. The store is eerily empty. She calls out but receives no response. Leaving money on the counter, she turns to exit when she suddenly notices blood smeared on the wall. Before she can react, a bullet strikes her arm. More shots follow, prompting Alice to dive for cover, bleeding and panicked, while John remains blissfully unaware outside, engrossed in his music. She manages to stem the bleeding and cautiously peeks outside, only to spot a sniper hiding on a billboard across the street, a billboard ominously proclaiming God is nowhere. Desperate to reach her phone, she inches closer, but just as she does, bang! The sniper destroys it with a single shot. Now trapped, injured, and isolated, Alice notices a walkie-talkie on a desk, her potential lifeline, but it's positioned directly in the sniper's line of fire. Thinking quickly, she tosses snacks into the air. When the sniper fires at them, she seizes the opportunity to dash for the radio and grabs it. A voice crackles through, and she pleads with the man on the other end to call the police. But instead, he poses a perplexing question: "Is my wife Amelia in there with you?" Confused and shaken, Alice replies no. The man assures her he will contact the authorities. For a brief moment, hope flickers.
"'Cause I blew his head off."
Then he laughs, a cold, unsettling laugh. The chilling truth unfolds as the sniper reveals himself with a twisted laugh, having been the threat all along. He warns Alice that if she ceases communication with him, he will come down and finish what he started. Meanwhile, John becomes aware that his fuel is depleting once again due to a leak in the gas tank. Concerned by Alice's prolonged absence, he enters the store to check on her. Tragically, just as he finds her, he is shot in the neck and collapses, pleading for help. The sniper fires again, killing John right before Alice's eyes, leaving her utterly alone. In the moments following John's death, Alice desperately attempts to contact someone else via the radio, yearning for assistance. However, every effort only connects her back to the same sinister voice, the sniper. He calmly informs her that no one else is present, just the two of them and his wife, Amelia. As Alice scans her surroundings, she notices the light switches. She thinks to herself that if she can turn off the lights, she might have a chance to escape. She hurls various objects at the switchboard but to no avail. Then, she realizes that the shelf behind which she is hiding has wheels. With bullets flying around her, Alice pushes it aside, navigates through the chaos, and slams the switch, plunging the store into darkness. It is at this moment that Alice learns the horrifying truth: Amelia is already dead. The sniper confesses to having killed his own wife due to her infidelity. This revelation sends a shiver down Alice's spine as she reflects on her own unfaithfulness. Panic sets in as she questions whether she is being targeted because of her affair or if this is merely a coincidence, a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Suddenly, a car pulls into the gas station. A man named Doug steps out and enters the store, searching for his girlfriend, Amelia. Spotting him, Alice quickly warns him to stay low and informs him about the sniper. She realizes that Doug must be the man with. She urges him to call the police, but Doug reveals that he left his phone in the car. Alice explains that Amelia has already been killed by her husband, but Doug is visibly taken aback, asserting that Amelia was never married and that they were simply dating. As Doug approaches the counter, Alice notices something unsettling. The sniper has not fired a single shot since Doug arrived. This silence raises her suspicions. Could Doug be the sniper after all? He vehemently denies it, explaining that both he and Amelia worked night shifts and he came to check on her. Confused and uncertain whom to trust, Alice considers her options. Doug encourages her to communicate directly with the sniper to clarify any doubts. With time running out and no activity from the shooter, Alice suggests that Doug return to his car to retrieve his phone while she creates a distraction. Despite his fear, Doug agrees after some hesitation. However, as soon as he reaches his car and attempts to grab his phone from the holder, a bullet strikes him down. A second bullet destroys the phone, and Doug collapses lifelessly on the ground. In that moment, it becomes painfully clear. Doug was truthful, he was not the sniper. Overwhelmed with guilt and despair for inadvertently sending an innocent man to his death, Alice realizes that her chance for escape has vanished. The sniper reestablishes contact over the radio, shifting blame onto her. He accuses her of murder, claiming she knowingly sent Doug on a suicide mission. But his accusations do not stop there. He begins delving into her past. He reveals that he had seen her at a convention and knows precisely who she is. He views her as part of a flawed system, someone working for a pharmaceutical company that promotes harmful drugs. Alice insists she is merely a social media manager, but to the sniper, this only deepens her guilt. She embodies the deceptive face behind corporate lies.
I'm a VP of marketing. Social media, okay?
Oh, that's even worse. You promote it.
He continues to unravel her secrets, naming her company and accusing her of betrayal while labeling her as selfish, someone who has trampled others in pursuit of success. Then he unveils his most damning accusation yet. Alice once made a false accusation against a man regarding sexual assault in an attempt to further her career. The repercussions were severe. The man lost his job and his reputation, leaving him unable to afford treatment for his terminally ill daughter. To the sniper, Alice is no longer merely a victim. He believes she deserves whatever consequences may come her way. As he continues his tirade over the radio, Alice notices a stack of umbrellas near the counter, and an idea begins to take shape in her mind. However, she remains uncertain about the sniper's identity, questioning whether he is indeed Amelia's husband, especially since Doug clearly stated that Amelia was never married. It is possible the sniper has been deceitful all along, perhaps killing Amelia to construct a narrative of revenge as a means to psychologically manipulate Alice. Whether the attack on Alice was a calculated plan or merely a tragic coincidence remains ambiguous. She may have simply been in the wrong place at the worst possible moment. While the sniper continues to speak, Alice begins arranging the umbrellas in a row, hoping to use them as cover. However, as soon as he detects her movement, he fires multiple rounds into the gas station. Alice narrowly avoids being hit and rushes toward the exit, only to find it locked. Frantically searching for a way to break the padlock, she attempts to smash it open, but nothing proves effective. At that moment, another man pulls into the station to refuel. Alice observes closely as his credit card fails to go through, prompting him to leave without incident. This reinforces her suspicion that the sniper only targets those who become aware of the situation. Emotionally drained, Alice attempts to reason with the sniper, sharing her struggles with infertility and the strain it has placed on her marriage. However, the sniper is already aware of her affair and dismisses her appeal coldly, asserting that the world would be better off without someone like her.
There's something you should know about me, something you wouldn't find out on social media. We're trying to have a baby.
Nah, you don't strike me as a maternal type. I know you more than you think.
Suddenly, a police car speeds past the station, igniting a flicker of hope in Alice's heart, but it does not stop. Seizing the momentary distraction, she sneaks out of the store and heads toward Jay's car while the sniper demands to know her location over the radio. Just as she reaches the vehicle, the sniper fires again, forcing Alice to retreat and resulting in a gunshot wound to her thigh. In pain and wounded, she drags herself back inside and manages to apply first aid to temporarily stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, the sniper continues his deranged monologue about humanity's decline. While searching her surroundings, Alice discovers a uniform belonging to a former employee named Henry, who had been fired weeks earlier. Among his belongings is a photo of him with his daughter. She takes a hacksaw from his things and attempts to cut through the padlock but injures her hand in the process. Frustrated and running out of options, she grabs the radio and asserts that killing her will not resolve anything. She refers to him as Henry, expressing empathy for the life he might have led. After a tense silence, the sniper responds with a chilling question, "Who's Henry?" Before she can decipher this revelation, another car arrives. An elderly man steps out to pump gas but stumbles upon Doug's lifeless body. In shock, he tries to react, but the sniper is quicker, the man is shot dead. His wife, oblivious to the danger, exits the vehicle as well. Alice desperately attempts to warn her, but it is too late, she is shot too. The innocent couple perishes within moments of each other, their lives extinguished without mercy. The sniper returns to the radio, asserting that he and Alice share a common darkness, which he refers to as an evil gene, claiming that she will pass it on to her unborn child. However, Alice counters his assertion by stating that they are fundamentally different. She acknowledges her decision not to have children, expressing her desire to avoid bringing them into a world rife with suffering and despair, as well as her fear of raising a child who might grow up to become a coward, hiding in the shadows and harming innocent people.
That's exactly why I can't have children. Because I don't want them bullied on their phones. Because I don't want to fear for their lives every time they leave the house. I can't have children because people like you exist in the world.
At that moment, she notices a young girl named Cindy in the car. The child, having witnessed the brutal deaths of her grandparents, is paralyzed with fear, unable to move or flee. Alice immediately pleads with the assailant to spare the child, but he retorts that if he truly intended to kill her, he would have already done so. He then poses a chilling question: would Alice be willing to sacrifice her own life to save Cindy? Without hesitation, she agrees. The sniper gives her 2 minutes to send the child away. Alice urges Cindy to run toward the road, but despite her desperate entreaties, the girl is too frightened to venture into the darkness alone. Instead, she seeks refuge beside Alice inside the store. Faced with no other options, Alice blocks the door and rushes to cut through the padlock on the exit gate. Meanwhile, the sniper descends from his vantage point on the billboard and approaches the store, intent on finishing what he started. After a tense struggle, Alice manages to break through the padlock, only to find another shutter behind it that is also locked. Once again, her escape is thwarted. With no alternatives left, she prepares for a final confrontation. Alice hides Cindy in a corner, gathers whatever weapons she can find, and braces herself. The sniper enters the store, methodically searching for her. As he moves through the aisles, he speculates aloud about whether he was sent by her betrayed husband or if he is a disgruntled coworker whom she betrayed to advance her career. Perhaps he is a grieving father whose daughter suffered due to drugs from her company. When he reaches a corner, Alice leaps from the shadows and strikes him in the back with a metal rod. However, it is insufficient. He retaliates and they engage in a fierce struggle. From her hiding spot, Cindy watches in horror as the confrontation escalates. A gunshot rings out, and Alice collapses to the floor, appearing lifeless. Though wounded, the sniper continues moving and finds Cindy. As he approaches and reaches for his mask, an unexpected turn occurs. Alice, clinging to life, re-emerges and strikes him with a fire extinguisher, knocking him back. As he struggles to rise, she strikes him again with full force, incapacitating him. She drags his body to the hydraulic press and places him on the platform. Hesitating for a moment out of a desire to see his true identity, she ultimately decides against removing his mask just before the machine activates, gruesomely crushing his skull. His identity and true motives remain forever shrouded in mystery. Exhausted and bleeding, Alice lies down on the floor and takes her final breath moments later. Cindy, having witnessed the entire ordeal, is left alone. In the concluding scene, the young girl quietly exits the gas station and begins walking down the empty road as the morning sun breaks through the darkness, heralding a new day. She is the sole survivor of that harrowing night. This film transcends mere survival. It delves into themes of guilt, consequences, and the darkness. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more in-depth movie analyses. Until next time, stay vigilant and take care of yourselves.